So I am currently sitting on my floor editing this week's vlog, and I wanted to film a quick little intro because a few things have come to my attention. First, I realized that this channel has grown quite a bit in this past week. So I wanted to say welcome if you're new to this channel. My name is Asada. I am living here in Copenhagen, Denmark. And on this channel, I just share my experience getting adjusted to life here in Denmark. And to those of you who have been subscribed for a while, welcome back. I'm glad you're still along with me on this journey of self-discovery, overcoming challenge, embracing change, all the wonderful things that come with moving to a new country. On a more serious note, as I was watching this vlog, I realized something. In the first scene that you're about to watch, I am wearing a Swedish shirt. So before I hear it in the comments, I wanted to address why. It has recently come to my attention that there's this animosity between Swedes and Danes. The fact that I'm wearing a shirt from Sweden does not mean I've picked a side in this whole feud. That t-shirt was a gift from my sister and brother-in-law, and it's also one of the softest t-shirts I own. So I just rolled out of bed and started the vlog, and I just happened to be wearing that t-shirt because it's really comfy. So I don't want to hear it in the comments, okay? I really don't understand where the whole feud between the two countries started. My husband doesn't really know. He couldn't really give me a clear answer. So if any of you know where this whole Denmark versus Sweden thing came from, please let me know in the comments. Is it sports related? Was there some historical event? What is the origin of this feud? Lastly, I mentioned a few vlogs ago that I wanted to do a little Q&A with all of you, and I'd meant to do it in the last vlog, but honestly, I didn't receive that many questions. The questions I did receive, I did write them down, so thank you so much. I will definitely address those in the next vlog. So I'm definitely doing the Q&A, even if I don't get any more questions. I might just have to ask my mom to submit questions. I don't know. If you have any questions for me, these can be questions about my life here, about my journey to get here, my thoughts and opinions on certain things, the ways I've been trying to adjust to a new culture, anything at all. Please let me know. You can write it down in the comments. You can reach out to me on Instagram or TikTok. And I also want to thank you for all the helpful comments on my last video. I learned so much about some of the things I thought I knew about, and some of you took the time to write really in-depth explanations of certain things and took the time to educate me on certain things, and I love that. If you've been watching my channel, you know I love to learn, I love to grow. So if I say something that is incorrect, or I have a question about something, or I'm curious about something, if you have the time and willingness to take a moment to explain something to me, that's the only way I'll grow. Please keep that going. The reason I started this channel was to share my experience, and it's been really awesome that we're able to have a dialogue where you also share your experience and your insight with me, and it makes me feel like a part of the community and less of an outsider the more I know about my environment. Thank you for each and every one of your comments, and please keep that up whenever you feel compelled to reach out. Also, I was featured on TV2 Cosmopol, the local news channel, this past week. If you missed the story and you're interested in seeing it, I'll put a link to it in the description box below. And if you prefer to read it, there's a written version of the interview, and I'll link that down below as well. All right, that's all I wanted to say. Again, thank you. Submit questions if you have them. Welcome to the channel if you're new, and I hope you enjoy this week's vlog. It's a really busy day ahead of me. I have some planning that I have to do for work. I have to plan a couple yoga classes. I'm currently in a yoga training, and I have hours and hours of lectures to listen to. I have a yoga class booked for noon in a part of the city that I haven't vlogged in before. So I'm excited to show you the part of Copenhagen that my husband and I stayed at when we first moved to Copenhagen 6 months ago. And I haven't been back to that part of town since. So it's gonna feel a little full circle. Our first few weeks here were a bit of a struggle. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to go back to where it all started and think about how far we've come in these past 6 months of our journey here. And it will be nice to take an hour to just de-stress on my yoga mat. And the studio there is really lovely, so I'm looking forward to taking a class there again. I definitely need some energy to get through all my daily tasks, so I'm gonna finish this tea, I'm gonna make some breakfast, and then I'm gonna head out. I made it out here to Nordhavn. Just brings up some really mixed emotions. My husband and I stayed at an apartment hotel. I'm actually looking at it right now. When we first moved here to Copenhagen. And we'd originally planned to stay in a hotel for only 2 weeks. And it ended up being a little over a month that we had to stay in hotels because it was a little tricky finding an apartment. I think mainly just because we were unfamiliar with the process. And once we figured out which websites we needed to look at and how to get on the waiting lists for apartments, it actually was very simple. But it just took a little longer than we had originally planned. And it was a real practice of patience. And so when I'm sitting here and thinking about how stressed I was those first few weeks, it's a nice reminder that challenge can become triumph. And when you're putting yourself in a new situation, moving to a new country, exploring a new environment, pushing yourself to do something that you've never done before, there's always going to be some unexpected challenges. And the fact that it took us a few weeks to figure out where to live is actually really small in the big scope of immigration stories. But when you're in it, sometimes you make your problems bigger than they are. And I wish I could go back in time and tell myself, don't stress about those little things. You will figure it out. You will find your way. And of course, you just moved to a new place. You got to give yourself time to figure it out. So yeah, it's nice to remember those things. Now I am going to head to my yoga class. I got here really early so I could take a walk around Nordhavn, and now my fingers are really cold, so I hope a power yoga class will warm me up a bit. That was so much fun. I forgot it was hot yoga, so I am steaming hot right now. I've worked up quite an appetite, so I'm going to check out a bakery around this area and see if I can get a delicious pastry. One fantastic thing about this city, and truly one of the things that made me fall in love with this city, is the bakery scene. There is no shortage of wonderful, delicious bakeries here. And if you have a sweet tooth like I do, that is a really great thing. Just a sea of bicycles. So many bikes. I love it. And I have to say, I've really been enjoying riding my bike. I think I've said it like the last few blocks, but I honestly was scared of riding my bike, and now I've finally built up the confidence to have fun with it. And I actually look forward to taking my bike out whenever I have to go somewhere. So that's been going really good. I just got back home, and on the way I stopped at a bakery, Anderson and Mallard, and I wanted to try something new. a Danish pastry that I'd never tried before. So I saw this incredible tasty looking pastry. This is a fastelavnsbolle. It translates to Mardi Gras bun. The kind woman at the bakery explained to me that these fastelavnsbolle are only served this time of year, Mardi Gras time of year. And she said there's usually a line for these things. And this is actually the last one that they had in the shop. So I was really fortunate to have been able to pick up one of these. Now, this particular bun has blackcurrant jam, and I think the woman at the shop said vanilla cream. It's not the traditional version, but it's Anderson and Mallard's signature take on this Danish dessert. Okay, time for a taste test. It's really pretty, but it's not really the most convenient shape for taking a bite out of, but here goes. Okay, I'm making a huge mess. I got some of the cream, but I didn't really get jam. I'm just gonna rip this. That looks so good. I'm gonna take this piece and dip it into the jam and cream. Delicious. I love blackcurrant, pretty much anything. And it basically tastes like a really buttery, delicious croissant with the blackcurrant jam. But then the cream just mellows out those flavors. That's really good. I'm making a mess, as always.